Christine, Susan, Ernest with Dreammaker Agents, and Erica with Yeti Dogs, thank you guys so much for your generous donation to Gateway to the Arctic Camp. It's going to go such a long way in the Talkeetna and Anchorage area for making more produce, giving more away to those in need, and allowing Gateway to the Arctic to fill the need by being the resource. Thank you guys again so much for your generosity. What's up, everybody? I hope you guys are doing awesome today. It is beautiful here in Eagle River, Alaska. It really feels like summer is right around the corner. And I know it's going to be here really soon because it's actually gotten a lot warmer compared to last year. I remember when we got here almost a year ago, we're coming up on 1 year in Alaska, there was a whole lot more snow on the ground. And I'm actually really surprised that I feel like we didn't get a lot of snow this winter. I expected to get a lot more. But I could be normal, I don't know, but I know there was a lot more snow the last time we came here. I went and actually checked some of our old vlogs about a year ago, but it is beautiful here. Last I checked, I think it was in the low 40s. I'm actually wearing short sleeves, and some of you probably think I'm crazy for wearing short sleeves in 40-degree weather, but I've noticed after living here in Alaska, especially with the dry temperature, once your body kind of gets used to the really low temps, especially when it gets in the negatives, when it gets into like the 40s, it feels amazing, especially when you're in the sun. And here in Alaska in the winter time, we're much farther away from the sun, there's a lot less sunlight, but in the summertime, as you guys probably know, there's a lot more sunlight, almost 21 hours during the day, and we're actually closer to the sun. So with the way the Earth rotates, we're a lot closer to the sun. So what I mean by that is when you're in the sun, not in the shade, it feels so much warmer than what the outside temperature feels like. And one other big difference, talking about it being dry here, it's not humid compared to the south where I'm from. When you step into the shade out of the sun, it actually feels very nice. It's not humid and still hot. We're down south. Stepping in the shade, it just really makes no difference because it's just so humid outside, and all that moisture in the air holds that heat. So that's something I definitely noticed down here. And Jocelyn is so excited. She keeps talking about when the sun comes out. She's meaning summertime. She keeps asking to wear short sleeve shirts to school, and we're letting her because it feels so nice outside. So because it's such a nice day, and it looks like it's probably not going to snow anytime soon. I know every once in a while, 2 weeks from now, it might snow a couple inches, but I'm going to take off our winter tires today. We have studded tires, and so I have a whole separate set for the winter time. It's very normal up here to swap during the winter and then put back on your summer tires, which typically are like all-season tires. But we're going to take off our studs because they're really loud. They do a lot of damage on the roads and they're wearing down, and we don't really need them anymore. So I keep our tires back here in the shed in our backyard during the winter time. And speaking of summer, you guys may remember I did a vlog a while back. I think I called it like Poop Tracker, where I was going to, every time Cassie, our dog, came outside, I was going to kind of watch her up here on the deck to see where she went and try to mark it on a little map, put little dots so I could pick it up in the next day or so. That didn't last for too long. I was good at it for about a week, and then when it just kept snowing and snowing and snowing and was dark and it was hard to see her, and a lot of times she would just go back here, I totally stopped that. So it is really nasty back here. TMI, but such as Alaska, there's just so much poop back here, so I've got to get back there, and it's gonna be like Frogger, where I have to try to avoid all the little poop spots. Hopefully I don't get any on my shoes, but we'll definitely, that'll be part of summer, cleaning up, picking up all her poop. What makes this even more challenging is the brown colored grass. Trying not to, it's hard to see the poop through it all. I love having a dog, but this is one thing I definitely do not like. Some of you might be wondering, why are tires typically put in bags? It's actually really important for the natural oils that are in the tires to stay there. So if a tire dries out, that's when it starts cracking. Rubber in general, dryness and rubber don't mix very well. That's when things crack, or if it gets really too cold, that's when the tires can really crack. So thankfully in the Eagle River, Anchorage area, it doesn't get that cold to where leaving them outside is really bad. But it is really important to try to keep them somewhere where they won't get wet or really exposed to the elements, all the snow and the rain. But by keeping them in here, it's not going to get that cold, and keeping them in trash bags will keep the natural oils there. And I also wash the tires before I put them up to get all the grimy, dirty stuff off of them so that the oils can just stay there really nicely. But that's why people typically put them in trash bags. Those that kind of keep them outside just stacked up, they get rain, snow, all the above all over it, they definitely won't last as long. So proper maintenance is putting them in bags and trying to keep them away from all the elements. All right, I got the tires back in the front yard. Now just gotta maneuver the poop one last time before we clean it up. Okay, I think we're good. Speaking of poop, there are actually a lot of poop picking up services here. I don't really know how much they cost. We may end up calling just to see. I know a couple of our neighbors use them, but there are a lot of services here. Well, they'll come out once a week, twice a week, whatever you pay for, or one huge cleanup at the beginning of summer and pick up all the poop that they see. I'm assuming they probably charge by the hour, however long it takes them. But I have no idea how much it costs. We may consider it with all the poop back there, but that's one big thing I've noticed up here that I never really saw down south. All right, got all the tires in the truck. Just need to take it to the tire place. A lot of people here in Alaska end up having like a separate set of wheels or rims for their tires, so they can just do it at home easily. Because it's about $75, I think, between $60 and $75 depending on where you go, for changeover. So a lot of people end up buying separate wheels for their summer or winter and do it themselves at home. But since we just moved here, we didn't really want to invest in that quite yet. Buying 8 new rims was very expensive, and also trying to find the exact right size. I like to usually buy used stuff on Craigslist or Facebook or something like that. Just a lot more difficult here in Alaska, finding those things. Going somewhere like a dealership or another store, they're going to be new and more expensive. But while I'm out here, I wanted to show you guys the house. I know a lot of you have been asking about that, and by the house I mean the one that collapsed. So anyone that's new to this channel, this is the house that a lot of people know about that collapsed during the 7.1, I think is what it officially was, earthquake. I think it was originally thought as a 7.0. But nonetheless, this house had a lot of damage, unfortunately. Thankfully, no one was hurt. But this is supposed to be a 2-story house. I'm actually going to put up some footage while I'm talking of what it looked like when it first happened, when there was a bunch of snow. So it's going to look a little bit different because of the snow, but I think it's settled even more, especially right here. You should be able to see like how wide open this window is. This window was not missing, it was kind of hanging, and it's probably fallen down there. So this is supposed to be a 2-story house. That is a garage right there, and there's actually still a car stuck in there. Everything inside the home is still there. There's a TV on the wall at a different angle. You can see they have a big, I think like a 70-inch TV, couches, furniture, everything, and it's starting to settle more. I think this is a little bit more hanging, but it's a very sad situation, but that's definitely something that we have been thinking about, all the neighbors around here, is how much more is it going to happen as things warm up. I'm not going to go down there, but wanted to kind of walk on the side of the house. So normally this house has like stairway that goes up to this front door. That is the front door, and it should be like way up here. The bottom of that should be at least 12 feet higher. I don't know if you can see down there, it's kind of dark, but down in here is kind of the garage and basement area that just completely collapsed, and you can kind of see the side of the house is just collapsing too, and it's at a giant angle. So we're all kind of wondering here in the neighborhood, when are they going to you know, knock it down, because it's believed that this was a sinkhole. which means I'll have to completely clear this, fill it all in, and they won't be able to put anything back on top of it if it was official sinkhole. They won't be able to rebuild. Very sad situation. But this is how the house looks right now. I'll definitely keep you guys updated in terms of when they decide to take it down. Another thing that's different is how nasty my truck is. It is just impossible to keep it clean, especially like along the sides and the back. Just because it gets so nasty during breakup season and muddy that it's just really hard to keep it clean. I definitely need to wash this thing, but this is what most cars look like in Alaska during this time of year, just gray or brown. And it helps a little bit that my truck was already kind of I think it's called silver sky, but it is nasty and I really do need to clean it. Other things that we're noticing after the earthquake, especially after all the snow has melted on the driveway, you can see kind of right here, this was not as sunk right here pre-earthquake, and you can kind of see this crack going all the way across the driveway, and it actually goes into the grass, which is kind of crazy. You can kind of see it, you know, kind of looks like it trails off right here. But another crack over here that we noticed the other day that's pretty big is running to the house that collapsed. So if you can see it, I'm gonna kind of follow it, and it kind of goes through the cul-de-sac, through the street, and then toward the house and down that way. So definitely a lot of things we're going to be noticing, a lot more things collapsing, especially with this house. Maybe some roads giving way here and there, especially on the corners, but you guys can see most of the snow was gone. Still a little bit left here and there, but it is melting super fast, and it's just such a beautiful day out here today. You know, some other things that we have to keep on the forefront of our mind now that the weather is getting nicer is the wildlife that's waking up. In other words, the bears that are waking up. I'm actually getting down my bear spray right now. I'm probably going to do a vlog about this bear spray. This stuff's awesome, and I might even practice using it. We have a few extras. They say it's really important to practice with these, know what you're doing. They are pretty self-explanatory, you know, they have instructions, but you never want to be in the moment. If you need it, hopefully you never do, but you never want to be in the moment and that be the first time that you actually need it. So I think Jen and I and Jocelyn won't use it, she'll just be there. But we're gonna go out somewhere and use these and practice with them. They're not too expensive. You can get a 2-pack at Costco, I think for between $40 and $50. So not that bad. A lot of other places around here sell single ones for almost that much, so this is a pretty good thing. But this is another thing that we have to keep on the forefront of our mind now that we're in the summertime in Alaska. I do know that the bears, a lot of them are waking up. We're part of a wildlife group here in Alaska. Put this in the truck, that shows us kind of, you know, gives us warning, hey, I saw a bear here, or a moose here, and I saw my first, somebody saw a bear here in Eagle River the other day. So that's definitely something we have to keep on the forefront of our mind when we're hiking, when we're out. We've had bears just come right through our yard, brown and black bears. So whenever we're out here playing with the kids, a lot of people don't do this, but I always have my bear spray on me, because you know what, I would rather have it with me and never need it than to one day if a bear all of a sudden decides to get aggressive and come up, I'd rather have it. A lot of other people carry, you know, knives and guns and things like that. Now when I'm hiking, when I'm out in the woods, I do carry protection with me, and again, I hope to never need it, but I would rather have it and never have to use it. So that's just another thing we have to think about with the bears coming out. I'm excited about summer. It is beautiful out here. Like I said, this sun just feels so warm. It's in the 40s, but it does not feel that way. Honestly, it feels like it's 65 degrees down south. But I hope you guys are doing awesome today. That's going to be the end of today's vlog. Getting ready for summer. Wanted to give you an update on that house. And, you know, I need to put my grill out. I do use it here and there in the wintertime, but I need to put it back in its normal spot now that it shouldn't snow on it anymore. But hope you guys are doing awesome. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Yes. Yes, no poop.